You are watching the number one podcast in the whole entire wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Juanzo.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Leck.
And together we are Rope Break. How's every single one of you tonight? Saturday? Like normally we do interviews or gameplay or something like this out of the normal, but we have today Bound for Glory, Jean-Paul. We've been hyping it up. Is the best pay-per-view, the best night in the Impact world, and I think it was overall a pretty decent show. Things that we don't know about. There was I don't want to say a controversy, but last minute changes. So we were just kind of wondering what happened because we got a title match that was not supposed to be a title match, or the person that was supposed to be, having that match didn't even show up. So we want to know what happens. We want to know if it is storyline or if it is legit.
Yeah, so Bound for Glory, like you said, pretty much the WrestleMania, you could say, Josh Matthews said the Super Bowl, for Impact Wrestling. So it was really good. We saw, who was it, who was on commentary?
It was Don Callis.
Yeah, Don Callis.
And Josh Matthews for more than
so it was cool to hear Don Callis again on commentary. We do like the duo, that they have on Tuesday. But Madison, yeah, she did come back then for the Knockouts match. That was legit. But, it was cool to have Don on the commentary team. But yeah, it was a good show. There was like you mentioned, the big, elephant in the room was where is Kayle Lee? What's going on here? And then we had another match, a winner, which that you could kind of see, and if you kind of knew the storyline, that one we saw with the the Call Your Shot Gauntlet Battle Royal, we kind of had to get a new winner for that as well.
That was like you told me that happened during the match. It's kind of something they had to last minute change it as they went. But we're going to talk about everything. So thank you so very much for all the love and support that we will feel it. We feel it in the social media. Everything is pumping. We're hyping it. We're loving it. And don't forget, Jean-Paul and myself, we talk about Smackdown, the go-home show for Hell in a Cell tomorrow. We're going to be talking about that, Jean-Paul.
Yeah, so this is a busy weekend. Pay-per-view 1. Should we make the prediction now? Which pay-per-view we think is going to be better?
Yeah, Bound for Glory. Yeah.
there he is.
Yeah, because the Devil's, the Devil's Playground and Demonic Extortion is going to be, as one of the another pay-per-view. And last minute news, Jean-Paul, Drew McIntyre, and Randy Orton are going to close down the show. They're going to be the main event because a lot of people were saying that Bayley and Sasha were going to be the main event, but not this time, Jean-Paul. So don't forget to check out.
Nobody.
Jean-Paul, or if you love the soccer games right there, we have El Clásico, Real Madrid, we're against Barcelona. Barcelona lost 3-1, so I'm pretty pissed about that. But I want to shout out Clever, our soccer analyst. We were talking about this whole game. And also the draw, Jean-Paul, for the Copa Libertadores. Let's see, Liga actually kind of went to, ended up being with a Brazilian team. So, it's going to be Santos. So, it's going to be, a really difficult...
Santos Escobar.
Santos Escobar. So, that's difficult. Liga is going again Legado del Fantasma. So, it's going to be a really... it's a really difficult bracket right there, Jean-Paul. So don't forget to watch that video for the soccer fans. Yes. Let's talk about, the beginning of Bound for Glory was actually the induction for the most dangerous man in the sports entertainment history, and that's Ken Shamrock. He got inducted into the Impact Hall of Fame, and rightfully so, because he was the first NWA champion for the TNA brand. When TNA started it, he was the inaugural champion. And, he did a lot of the contributions during that time, and then he came back last year, so he's been working with them, and I feel that it has legitimized Impact a little more, and also he has been able to benefit from how good Impact has been lately.
Oh yeah, and he's one of the guys who he really deserves it. You think of the big Hall of Fame inductees, and people are in there. Kurt Angle, Sting, and then you have Ken Shamrock. Yeah, the Dudleys, and so it's like a who's who. And people, you want to make jokes about Impact, but Ken Shamrock is legit. So their Hall of Fame, that's a good list of guys, and, he joins them, and he deserves it. You mentioned, the inaugural champ. I believe he dropped it to, our boy on Monday Night Raw, Mr. 24/7, R-Truth, when it was the end.
Look where the pads ended, right? Look where the pads ended.
When it was the NWA, was still the NWA title that they used, so it was, really good stuff. He's a hell of a guy. He deserves it, and I know he's a fan favorite. Of us here on Rope Break. So, we enjoyed this.
Yeah, thank you so much. And like you said, a Dwayne Big Tits Johnson.
Yeah, there,
but look at those tits, the freaking tit coming out of the sweater or the thing.
Well, funny thing, remember when he wore that shirt for a couple weeks?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's because he has a condition that they call swelling, so he actually had to get surgery on his boobies. That's why he wore the shirt. So maybe it's
On
coming
where?
back.
On where?
The boobies.
Yeah. All right. I see.
Yeah, the Rock and Sock connection.
Yeah, the Rock and booby connection right there. So that was like, he said, like you said, from a cue card reading. I want to say hi to my friend Ken Shamrock. So it was.
He couldn't read the cue card right with his sunglasses on.
Yeah, so it was good. Hey, like Shamrock got his recognition, so that was pretty good. And then Bound for Glory started Jean Paul with his match, the 6-way scramble match for the X Division title. This was a pretty good match. All like 6 participants, because Jordan Grace is in it, so I can't say like 6 men. Look good, but I like how Chris Bay did. He did pretty well. Trey did pretty awesome. TJ Perkins looked really good. I thought he was going to win at some point. Jordan did fantastically well. If Jordan would have gotten it, I would have been really happy. We're not fans of her personality or what she does outside of the ring. But I think that she looked really well. Willie Mack, yeah, pretty decent. I didn't care for Raju, but in the end, what happens, Jean Paul?
Well, yeah, he wins the thing, and that's what I text you. I'm like, if Rohit retains, I'll be pissed. Willie Mack is good. I love Bay. I love TJP. Those were the 2 guys I wanted to see win it. Jordan Grace was good too, and I like, she took bumps for people. She delivered a lot of moves. She looked good. A lot of it was the real athletic guys, like I mentioned, TJP and Bay. I think stole the show, and they look good. Everybody else let's do the big, big spot, big suplex, big tower of pain, or whatever you want to call it. That kind of bullshit. But if Jordan Grace, I wouldn't have cared if she won it. But I wouldn't have seen it being a long title reign. I would have saw her maybe holding it till 2-3 Impact shows from now, dropping it to somebody like Rohit again. But they didn't do that. Which that's what I would have done. Maybe have Jordan win it here, and then Rohit beats her, in 3-4 days, on Tuesday. But they just had the champ retain. It was a good, entertaining match to really open the show, and it was it was good. It was good, but like I said, I would have liked to see another winner.
For example, TJ Perkins did at the frog splash.
And
then he was going to pin him, and he was going to pin, I think it was Trey Miguel, and then Rajid showed up, and he took Jordan out, and then he pinned also, and he took TJP, and then he pinned Trey Miguel, and then that's where he won. 1, 2, 3, and he retains. And like you said, I don't think that, the right winner won here. Like you said, I would much rather see Jordan, just because it's a different winner, and maybe just like you said, maybe having it for a month or so, kind of benefit from that. Hey, woman is also another he's holding championship.
And because all jokes aside that we make, she's really popular, is really talented. So and it also would have again brought some eyes, because all these wrestling dirt sheets and websites would have been like, woman is Impact X Division champ, and everyone would have been, huh?
And like you said, Jordan Grace is so popular because of the stuff that she does outside. Because all those sessions, that she likes to have with the Kayle Lee and everybody else in the roster. So those pictures, she has her OnlyFans would have been all excited. So it would have been something cool for her. So now let's jump to call your shot gauntlet match. So this was good because it has a lot of surprise entrance, and also it had a lot of variety of people. That's the one thing that I did like, and of course we had the big story with Rhino and Heath. It's if any one of them win it, then they would have been able to have a contract for Heath. That was pretty much the big thing. And everybody a championship match, I believe that's what it was.
Yeah, so if they won, then they were in Impact, and they could also benefit from the thing here, and they could challenge for any belt they wanted, and but if they lost, then they were both fired. So, that was pretty much the whole story of it, but I really enjoyed this. I liked the intergender wrestling in it a little bit. It really didn't take off. There wasn't much, because it was Emma, and how she doesn't like to wrestle. That was a comedy. Tenille,
Taya was there. Kira Hogan was there. And Nivea was there. Yeah, I don't think Rosemary was in it. But no. But I love and tell me this really quick. I love the intergender stuff. That's the one thing that I really love, because I want to see women and men getting beat up, but in a sport fashion way.
I only like it if it's something if you have somebody like Brian Cage in there, and then you have somebody like Alicia, I believe her name was. If she comes in and tries to do a Hurricane Rana and he sells for her, then he lost all credibility.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's got to be believable. When you saw Mia Yim beating up Johnny Gargano, I was like, okay, I could believe that.
Yeah,
you know, like if you saw Havoc in there beating up Johnny Gargano, it would be like, okay, yep, I can believe that because she weighs like 50 pounds more.
Well, like even Taya, you know, Taya would have been, you know, she's
exactly,
like,
but
it's as big as like Gargano, so yeah, why not?
Yeah, exactly. You know, somebody like that, it's believable. But if you do something that's like a joke, then that's when I turn into the Jim Cornette, and I'm like, no, this is bullshit.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
No, I did like this, and the main thing I got out of this, there was a couple things from this. One of them is they're really making Brian Myers like slowly pushing him, having him look good. He had 5 eliminations in this, and he looked really good. Oh, I believe it might have actually been 6 after he threw out Tennille. I don't remember if Tennille was 5 or 6, but you know that was good. And how he eliminated her was funny. They were posing with Caleb, and then he picks her up and holds her like and then throws her right on top.
Yeah, of like, and you said Caleb with a K, and he actually is a wrestler because he did a super kick also. So like, and Don Callis like, oh, he can move well for like just being like joining Tennille, but like, we knew that he was. Yeah,
and Hornswoggle was in there. You know, he's a good friend of a bunch of them. Adam is that Adam Cole?
It looks like Adam Cole. So like the Undisputed Era was right.
No, but it was good, and you know, Dreamer came out, you know, with a tribute to Road Warrior Animal, so that was legit. You know, it was a good, fun match.
But, this one for you, Paul.
And then that was the best thing of the whole gauntlet because we didn't get the right winner per se. So that so then to me that was like, but then this was good though. This was James Storm. I mean, this opens up so many new storylines. Him and Brian Myers will be good. Him and Willie Mack. Him and Moose, especially Moose having the TNA championship. He's an old TNA guy. He can be like, listen here, I'm TNA. You're not. Like, who do you think you are? So tons of great storylines for James Storm.
Yes.
I'm happy he's back, but yet to skip to the end of this thing, Heath. When it was the final 4, it was Sami Callihan, Rhino, Heath, and James Storm. I don't know what he did, but Heath did something that looked like his leg or his knee was done. So then they bump him to the outside, and then that he was clearly supposed to be the winner. I'm sure you feel the same way. He was supposed to win, but then then James Storm is out, and then we get Callihan and Rhino. And I mean, that was good. They had a little match, whatever. The ref gets distracted. He hits the gore, pins him 1, 2, 3. And it was good. Rhino wins. And then him and, Heath are saved. It was the obvious that they were going to do Heath because Rhino is the veteran. He had his time in the sun. He was a heavyweight champ. Rhino's legit for all the, ECW fans, Impact fans. We love him. But it was clearly this thing was built around Heath. Because then you could see Heath challenge, Rich Swann or somebody or, whoever. And it would be legit. Or he could be like, hey, baby, you and me going after the tag titles, baby. And they would have been legit. But, I mean, they can still do that. But, unfortunately, Heath is hurt. Hopefully it's just like a tweak. And he's like, oh, no, in 2 weeks.
Maybe like 2 weeks is all legit. But, like, you can see in the pictures, Jean-Paul, like, Rhino with, like, the employee with the mon, like, thing.
Yeah, I think they bought that at Walmart.
Can they buy a little better? Like, and there's no budget for this. There's like maybe $20 that we can get something more legit than this because I really don't like it. But like you said, Rhino is good. At least they kept it in between the both of them because the story was both of them, so that's fine. Now, Jean-Paul, let's move to the pretty much like the cinematic match, and that's like Moose going against EC3. This was not even contested in in the Impact Zone or like the Bound for Glory ring. This was more just like these two guys in actually like a pretty much a clandestine, right? A clandestine like ring, and there was like in like EC3 territory. It was like really cinematic, kind of like what Ciampa and Gargano did. Kind of like the Velveteen Dream and Adam Cole. Pretty much the same idea, like Undertaker and AJ Styles.
Oh yeah, it definitely had that weird...
kind of like those, like the same theme, like the same.
Definitely, it was cinematic, but then it also had that weird cult vibe because when they were in the ring, you saw all like the trainees around there. They had the EC3 like the hood on with like the the 3 stripes coming down, and they were just hitting the ring mat the whole time, and it was they had the music playing. So it was so it was it had that very like creepy vibe, and I personally, again, to go back to a little old school, like I said, I would have just like a legit match. But then as it was going on and I'm watching it, I was like, you know what? The cinematic thing, I like this. It fit this match. It fit this story because EC3 had all the head games, and the mind games before this, 4 of their head games, but, the mind games. And, it was good. I liked it. And tell me what you thought, because going into this, I'm like, oh, they're gonna have EC3 win. He's returning,
I know, and
whatever, and Moose wins this thing. But I mean, it was all. I think they're gonna have an actual match. I don't think this is the end of it. I think this is just like Moose, like the false sense, and then he's gonna appear, and then it's gonna be like, okay, let's actually wrestle.
I don't, what I was thinking about the whole thing, because like he kept like, going over like EC3, like he busted him open right away, and then he kept going and punch him, and then you see EC3 slowly like losing like, like the strength, kind of like weaker and weaker, and I was like, okay, when is he going to be the big comeback? And it never happened. And
yeah, that's what I mean. I was like, what the hell?
In EC3? But like I said, I can really see the feud continuing. Or like this is like a big storyline where maybe EC3 just like, kind of like gives like the cold to like Moose, or it's kind of like a way, hey, you take my spot now. Like you're going to be the leader of a new cult or something, just because like,
I don't know.
That like he looks so dominant, so dominant, to the point that like, and like you said, there was no clear winner, means like, no referee raised a hand, because it was just like, imagine like you said, in a hidden ring. So like this is what we see in the end.
Yeah, and it was good because I didn't see that like exact spot when he was busted open, and I don't think he was. I think it was like they did something where, because they were pulling all like the Colt, whatever, were pulling EC3 out of the ring, and they're like holding him, and it's like and then you just this blood, like that cut just opens, and then it just starts running down his head. So it's almost like EC3, like as they're pulling him out of the ring, he like it's some kind of like weird magic. Something is like going on here.
Something is not fitting. Yeah, we will see
exactly. More. Like it's like the Undertaker, like the spooky powers that are at work here. Something.
That's the one thing that like I was like thinking, along those lines. I'm like, this is not fitting, completely. This is like there's more to it. We'll see what happens, but like at least, hey, Moose looks dominant, and like you and me have heard this before. Moose is the future of Impact. Moose is just the guy. Everybody loved the theme song.
Oh, his theme is legit, and when he talks, like if Moose talks, you stop what you're doing. If you're in the same room as him, and you're like,
who's this guy?
You're like, what? Absolutely. You're like, what? Because he'll rip you in half.
Yes, exactly. So that's what it was, and it was good. Good that like they mix it up, cinematic, and every other match in the ring. Talking about any other match in the ring, we got to see the newest inductee of the Hall of Fame. Ken Shamrock goes against Eddie Edwards. And Sami Callihan was right there by Shamrock's side. This was okay. I didn't really think it was like over the top. I think it was just decent. A little bit of Shamrock, like he's able to mix with like newer talent, so that's good because of the age. I think he did pretty decent for it until like kind of Eddie Edwards started going on top, wrestling. Even Don Callis said like the style that Shamrock is not used to, because he's more MMA. So if he would have kept it more like UFC MMA style, like more locks and submission holds and all of that, it would have just been more Shamrock's environment, but Eddie took it like, to a different level, and I liked it. I think the right winner won the match just because he just was inducted in the Hall of Fame. And like you said, it would have been really dumb that like he gets inducted and then he loses. So
yeah, and they also did the story, Callihan was involved, and him, Eddie Edwards, Sami Callihan had the feud. That's the main feud here. This was all just, it's like, hey, Shamrock gets his moment because he was inducted. So, he can win here tonight. He can be inducted. He can have a legit day here at Bound for Glory, our WrestleMania. And we also get, the second coming, or the restart of the feud with Eddie Edwards and Sami Callihan. And then, Eddie Edwards can go over in that feud. Because Eddie Edwards, to me, he's legit. It was cool. He had the little bit of that run with the belt. And, I love him in the ring. It's just when I look at the guy, it looks like he should be, working behind the counter at the gas station. He should be putting the dogs on the griller. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't look, and it's nothing that, I'm not like trying to put the guy down, but to be like a world champion, to be legit, to me, that's a guy like a Drew McIntyre, or like a Nick Aldis, or a Volter, whoever. That to me is like, that's what a world champion looks like.
Yeah, it's more like you said, like how he carries himself, and that's the problem that like
like the basketball shorts, like the basketball jersey,
like a little bit of a bum, like looking like you don't know what you're doing, or meaning like you don't embrace the new role given to you that like is pretty much you're the champion.
And I'm pretty sure when he was in a tag, he looked more like an actual wrestler. He just had like on the
shorts. When he was the champion the first time, I think he looked a lot better because working with Cody, guys that like know like the lineage, knows how to behave, again, assume the role. But like you said, ankle lock, legit, and he had to tap right away. So, I was like, okay, good. Shamrock gets the win. I think that it was the right winner. So, good stuff on this. We'll see where the story takes us because it's maybe Sammy and Eddie Edwards one more time. We'll see where that goes, Jean-Paul. So far, I'm enjoying it. So, I think that it was a good pay-per-view so far. Let's go now with the tag, Jean-Paul. 4-way tag team title match. The North going against the Good Brothers, not the Good Friends, for Mr. Miro and Motor City Machine Gun. And also like Madman Fulton and Ace. Was Gambit?
Ace Austin.
No, Ace Austin, but I love to call him Gambit because like the gimmick comes from Gambit, and I love that guy from X-Men. Like the way he throws like the cards and all that.
Gambit, he's legit. He's like kind of French, isn't he? Mon ami, we know that's,
Yeah, so exactly.
Yeah, it's legit. It's legit,
Legit, that's what it means. And also, like, I just love that gimmick, and the fact that like,
he's from Jersey, so that's close to Pennsylvania, so that's also legit.
Yeah, it's fine. Exactly. So like this match, like you said, this was not too great. I think that like the only guy that looked really strong in this was Chris Sabin. And just because like Alex Shelley was taken out like before the match even started by Josh Alexander, he did
which that was. I mean, I thought that was bullshit when they did that. Okay, see, this is, and then we get to the match. I promise this won't take too long. But like when you do stuff like this, it would make a lot more sense if the match was 4 guys in the ring and all partners stay on the outside. And then you have to tag in your part. Not this stupid the way WWE does it, where it's like you have 2 teams standing on the outside, like so, and then you have like 2 guys in the ring, and then their partners on the outside. Why can't it just be 4 guys in the ring at once? Because then you could really tell the story where Sabin has nobody to tag out to. Because here he could just tag another guy from a team and be like, "Yeah, I want to take a break."
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean.
It is true.
So that kind of killed it for me, but
this wasn't too good, and like you said, maybe the Good Brothers should have been the ones that win because the Good Brothers like came with all this momentum. They came with the big name. Oh yeah, they come from the WWE, and like they're debuting, and I think they're trying to be not like the Young Bucks. They're trying to help out teams that are made on Impact, and that's the North. But I think that also aside like a Sabin, then Ace Austin, Madman Fulton, I think that like they don't have a place for them anywhere as singles guys, so that's why let's put them in a tag and let's just give them title matches. I think that now it's time for them to break up, and now Ace Austin can go back either to the X division, which I don't think Rajit is like a heel, but then he can go and challenge Rick Swann. It could be a good match with Ace Austin, I think, for me.
Oh yeah, I mean, and the match here. Would you touch on Chris Sabin looked good, and Alex Shelley looks so good, and since they brought them back as a team, it's been so legit. But they lose here. You take the belts off them, and it's like, they were on such a run. Now, what are you going to do with them?
Yeah, because they're still under contract.
Yeah, and it's not like, Chris Sabin, he had this legit run, and he's doing so good. What's he going to be like? Yeah, I'm done. Let me retire again.
I don't. I don't think so.
No, I mean,
a lot of gas in the tank. Yeah.
I don't know why you took the belts off them. I thought this match was going to be a shoe-in that they retain. Because I'm like, it's a fatal 4-way. It's a bullshit match. A legit match would be a one-on-one, if you want to call it like that. For a tag match, one team versus another team. The Motor City Machine Guns versus the Good Brothers. That's the match that we want to see. That's what it really should have been at Bound for Glory. But instead, we got this 4-way. And, at the end of the day, the ref is the same thing. Like, and AEW, like, I'm distracted. I can't
know what's going on,
Yeah, Ethan Page. He hits, Carl Anderson with the belt, and then Josh Alexander, gets the pin, and we have new champs. And I'm watching this, and I'm like, it's like, really? This is if I want somebody to lose, immediately on the next show, it's these guys. I'm sorry, the North are legit, but like the whole story you were telling, they didn't really fit into it.
No, I agree with you. I don't know what happened there. Because, you are the champions for, you're the longest tag team champions in Impact's history. Okay, cool. You lose the championship, you wait, a month or 2, and then you get the titles back? It's like, is this undisputed era? They don't have anybody to put the title anymore? So I just don't get it. I just don't like it, and, I'm not happy with this result. I would much rather just to see Machine Gun Kelly, not Machine Gun Kelly, but you know what I'm talking about, Motor City Machine Guns, just having the titles because they were good. They were in a good run, so I don't know what was the issue on that. So, Jean-Paul, let's move on to, this breaking news for you that you love it. like the Knockouts Tag Team titles are going to return. And of course doing that. And I will not say WWE did it first, because actually Impact was the one that did it first.
They're making a return, not a debut. So they were here before.
Yes. And one of them, it was actually Selena Vega was a tag team women's champion, or now Knockouts champion. She was with Sarita. So it's gonna be cool. I think that they have enough girls in the division.
Oh, they have plenty of women, because you saw and none offense to any of them, because some of them are legit, but all the the women who are on Wrestle House, some of the there's a lot of job women, a lot of bullshit. You can even say I'm not gonna run through them all, but I can at least right now think of 4 teams already in the women's division for Impact, and when they bring these titles, I'm sure they'll sign some more women, add some more teams, make it legit, and it'll be good, and they'll show WWE how you can actually book a women's tag division.
Absolutely, that's the main reason that they're doing it, and I'm happy that they're returning, because like you said, you have a lot of women to give them the titles, give them something to fight for, and something about fighting for. What happened here? Tell me. This was also. I'm not
smiling. I'm not smiling, Kayle Lee.
We were supposed to get this, and this didn't happen. So this is either we want to know, and once we know tomorrow, once we do our review on Hell in a Cell, we will give you all the details. But it's unclear. There's not confirmed information about why the absence of Kayle Lee. There's not, and she doesn't show up. I don't know if it is part of the story, which I don't think so, because Bound for Glory is the main pay-per-view, so that's when you want to have everybody that is the star power, and Kayle Lee definitely is. So maybe COVID, maybe, hopefully not that, but, maybe an injury, something on those regards. But like I said, Hell in a Cell, Jean Paul and I will have all the information in regards of her. But Jean Paul, Diana still comes out, and then she actually issues an open challenge. And who shows up, Jean Paul?
Well, and then Su Yung comes out, and it was cool because they had the thing where she broke Susie's arm, or work, or kayfabe, whatever you want to call it, broke her arm, and then it's and then but they played her music, and like you said, Kayle Lee didn't come out, and I like this, and I was thinking maybe this would be a work, because maybe Kayle Lee will come out later, or they could still do something on Tuesday, and she could be like, oh yeah, Susie came in, and I don't know what happened, but you could have done something and played it up where it's Susie turned on Kayle Lee and was like, no, you're bullshit, and then because with the split personality there, but since they didn't play it up, I don't think this was planned. I think they're just do you have your gear? Could you go?
I think so.
Yeah. And she's like, yeah.
I love that you're bringing this up, because I have a little bit of insights. I went to the Rope Break sources, and it says this, Jean Paul. According to Jean Paul, it
might as well.
Yeah, they might as well. Those in Impact were under the impression that Kayle Lee will be wrestling Diana Purrazzo as of Friday, earlier this week. Obviously, things changed, but talent claim that they have not heard any update on her status with the company. Right now, there's no real reason as to why Kayle Lee was not on Impact Bound for Glory show. So, that's the thing. So, I don't know. I don't want to talking crap. I remember what happened when she went to AEW.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that, but AEW. See, she was on the pay-per-view, and it was and I think they were going into their TV. This is like WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Yeah, I know we're in the COVID area and things don't feel as special as they should, but I don't know. Something must have happened if it's a contract thing. Why she wasn't here? I don't want to say I hope it's COVID, or I don't hope it's anything like that, but I hope it's not a contract thing. I hope she's not it's done, because 1, it would suck to see her leave Impact, and 2, you leave pretty much the 2 major wrestling companies in the United States, not called WWE. You just walk out. That doesn't look good for you getting a job anywhere else.
Exactly. So and that's what we have on Kayle Lee. See, Robert gives you all the insight for everybody. So like you said, Jean Paul, it was a good match though. So Su Yung did what she was supposed to. Diana looked phenomenal. Also so hot, smoking hot. That the virtuosa is just on another level. A lot of women should learn how to reinvent themselves. Seeing not being used, completely afterthought, underestimated. We don't want you here in WWE. First round of firings, out, and then she comes to Impact, and there you go, main event player. But on this, Jean Paul, I don't know. Maybe based on the Kayle Lee situations, maybe they decide to do the title switch, Because at the end, like you said, Su Yung looks good. Diana couldn't really get momentum in the match, and then Su Yung hit the panic switch, and they have a new Knockouts champion. That decision that I'm not really happy with, and I know that you're not loving this either, because it's just like we were thinking that the run with Diana, it was really good. It was just really good, and I didn't see the reason to change directions for this. But based on the thing with Kylie Ray, maybe that's what, like, hey, you know what? She's not coming back. So for that reason, hey, you know what?
Yeah, this is the only thing I'll give two speculations here. Well, one, I love the run Deonna was on, so that's why I didn't want to see it end. I was a fan of Kylie Ray. If she did walk out, then I'm less of a fan of Kylie Ray. But let's just go with the storyline for right now that she left. Let's just say it's bullshit and she was like, I'm done. Then I'm fine with them doing Su Yung, because then you can kind of play that in the storyline, like, oh, I don't have any friends. Susie went back to Su Yung, and then she loses. Deonna loses here, and then in the next couple of weeks, I would turn Deonna babyface.
Yes, yeah, that's good.
And then you take the title off her, you turn her babyface, because they don't really have that many babyface women.
No,
on the a lot of their main legit women are heels. So then boom, and you lose your number one babyface in Kylie Ray. Now you turn Donna babyface because everybody likes her. She comes from WWE. Like you said, she went from rags to riches. She went from first round to being cut to Knockouts champion. So, they already love her. She posts the cake, so people love that. So, it's, if she turns babyface, yeah, exactly. People will buy it. So that's why I'm not completely, bearing it yet. So we'll see where they go.
We'll see. When we find out more, we will let you know, guys. But as of now, that's what we know. So this is still intriguing, and I don't think it's a work. I don't think it's a storyline. I think it's legit. So not talking about kind of legit storylines, let's go to the main event, the Impact World Heavyweight Championship. Eric the Real Young against Rick Swann. This was a good match. I like the story. Like Jean Paul said, this is the money feud, and they deliver. I love how Eric Young throughout the whole match he keeps like, why you get up? Stay down. Why are you here? See what you're making me do? Kind of putting the blame on Rick Swann. So it was good, and and also when Rick Swann started chopping Eric Young, that was good because Don Callis goes like, oh, Eric Young doesn't like to get chopped. And I was like, well, who does like that? So it was good. It was.
Imagine if he said that during the Dragunov Walter match.
Oh well, yeah,
Dragunov don't like to get chopped, dude. I don't think anybody does.
Yes. So the match was pretty good, Jean Paul, and I loved it, and I think that Eric Young is a really great heel. But you said if there is an opportunity for them to do the title switch, it should have been now, and I think that's what they did.
Yeah, this is you don't want to go back, but with Eric Young, he kind of got that Daniel Bryan storyline copy push. You look at our boy Rich Swann here, and it's like, hey, let's give him the Rich Mania, the Kofi Mania, Bound for Glory Mania. Let's give him this moment. It'll be so legit for Rich Swann. They had the perfect story for him to come back and, for it to be legit. I don't know if he's going to have a long title run. They're building a lot of guys up. You have a lot of things in the works here. And they could even do the thing because Eric Young was on such a legit run, they could give him the title back at, I believe it's Hard Times. Is it coming up? Is that the next one? Or Hard to Kill. Excuse me, Hard to Kill. That's coming up. They could, boom, do a rematch and give it right back to Eric Young because he was on such a legit run. But the match was really good. I love the story. How you said Eric Young dominated. It was pretty much beating him down. Even they were saying on commentary, maybe they should just end this. Rich Swann is done. Eric Young was really working over his neck and the injured leg and everything, and it was so good. But then Rich, he obviously made the comeback, the hot babyface comeback, and it was good, and he got the win. And while I've been saying I love the run Eric Young was on, you had to do it now for Rich Swann. They did it. So I don't hate it. It was a good moment for him. And like I said, with the last match, we'll definitely see where the storyline goes.
And the whole roster came out, so that was really cool too, And the only thing, though, the whole roster comes out, and George Matthews is not even 2 seconds, not even a pen to everybody that is in there. Okay, we'll see you guys. Yeah, thank you for watching Bound for Glory. And I'm like, can I just see everybody enjoying themselves?
Yeah, I'm like, well, yeah, it's not like they're on TV. It's not like what what I mean? It's like who's kicking you off?
Yes, it's like and
like is girls gone wild? Did girls gone wild by the next time slot and they're coming on, or like what's going on here?
Yeah, or like Nights of Climax or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. The forbidden films with
Well, those films we don't want to watch.
Well, that's why they're forbidden.
Yes. So that was the end. I think it was a pretty good show, and we have like a lot of title switches, which is kind of cool. To see, like, for example, Rick Swann, to see Su Yung, they're a couple. So like that's kind of a premonition. Is that like a spoiler or prediction for like what's gonna happen at Halloween Havoc with Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae? Maybe maybe it's not intentional, but like hey, another couple have both titles right now in Impact. So Su Yung and Rick Swann, for the ones that don't know, they're married. I mean, he's married to Susie, not Su Yung, but that's what it is. So Jean Paul, your closing thoughts before we go.
Yeah, it was good. Was it better than the last, network special, that we covered? Yes. This was better than Victory Road. This was good. I don't know if it was a WrestleMania caliber, but you know what would have made it feel that? The crowd popping for the comeback for Rich Swann. If crowd was there, like I said earlier, this is all during the coronavirus era. Nothing feels special. Everything feels done. Everything feels so. But, it was good. We saw some really good matches here. They've had a bunch of Isaiah Swerve Scotts. I think that threw us off. But, with those aside, it was a good show, and I'm looking forward to what Impact's going to keep doing.
Exactly. And, we'll see. We'll update you on Kayle Lee, because that, like you said, that's the elephant in the room. So as soon as we know more where the story goes, we'll let you know, guys. And Jean Paul, remind everybody where they can find us in the social media world.
You can find us on Rope Break on Facebook, the OG Rope Break on Twitter, the original Rope Break on Instagram, the original Rope Break right here on YouTube, and of course, alleverythingentertainment.com.
That's right, Jean Paul. And you and me tomorrow, we have a date with the Demonic Structure, because we're going to be watching Hell in a Cell, and hopefully this actually is a good pay-per-view. There's only 5 matches announced, so we're going to
better not change this women's title match.
Yeah, hopefully like
Lana comes out. Lana comes out
because another one leaves the company. Oh no, you know what? Kayle Lee is going to show up at Hell in a Cell. That will be like the big news right there. It's like, I just signed the contract, and that's the elephant right there. So family, thank you so very much. We'll see you guys tomorrow with more Rope Break. Jean Paul, you and me have one more thing that is left to say. That is